Okay, picture this. You finally booked that dream vacation, the one you've been saving and planning for asterisk years. But there's one massive 14-hour hurdle standing in your way: the flight with a toddler. The weeks leading up to our trip were filled with a very specific kind of dread that I think only fellow parents can truly appreciate. I had nightmares of a full-blown meltdown at 30,000 feet, of getting the look from every other passenger, of our dream vacation turning into a nightmare before it even began. I was convinced we'd land so exhausted and jet-lagged that the first few days would be a total write-off, spent recovering instead of exploring. It felt like we were setting ourselves up for failure. But I'm here to tell you, not only did we survive, we actually thrived. We landed on the other side of the world feeling refreshed, excited, and ready to go. And we completely sidestepped that dreaded jet lag. It wasn't magic, and it wasn't luck. It was 5 specific strategies that turned our flight from a nightmare into a dream. And today I'm sharing all 5 of them with you. So if you've got a long flight on the horizon with your little ones, stick around, because this is the guide you need. All right, tip number 1, and honestly, this is the foundation for the whole operation. Master your pre-flight prep. A smooth flight doesn't start at the airport. It starts days, even weeks before you leave the house. First up, booking. Think strategically about your seats. We made sure to grab a window seat for our toddler. Sounds so simple, but trust me, it was a game changer. It gave him his own little world to peer out of and created a natural barrier that stopped him from making a break for the aisle every 5 minutes. It just contained the chaos. If you're traveling with an infant, call the airline way ahead of time to request a bassinet seat. Can be a lifesaver for getting them to sleep. Next, and this is a big one, you have to start tackling the time zone change before you leave. About a week before our flight, we started gradually shifting our son's sleep schedule. We'd move his bedtime and wake-up time by about 20 minutes each day, inching closer to our destination's time zone. It wasn't perfect, but it meant the 8-hour difference wasn't such a brutal shock to his system. Finally, prep is about having your essentials locked down. We had a folder with all the documents, of course. But just as important was the comfort document: his favorite little blanket and a stuffed animal that basically signals it's sleepy time, no matter where we are. And the big one: we downloaded hours of his favorite shows, plus some new ones onto a tablet. Never, ever, ever rely on the in-flight Wi-Fi or entertainment. They are just too unpredictable. Having Peppa Pig ready to go at a moment's notice is a power you'll want to have. That brings me perfectly to tip number 2. Mastering the art of the carry-on. What you bring on that plane can make or break you. And it's about so much more than just having enough diapers, though. You should definitely pack more than you think you need, plus clothes. You will need at least 1 extra outfit for the child. We have been vomited on many times with our oldest child, who is very motion sick. So you might also want to pack an extra set of clothes for mom and dad. You will also want a pacifier on a string, so you're not constantly reaching on the ground to find the baby's soother, Pachi. Our most powerful tool was something I call the surprise bag. This wasn't just a random bag of toys. It was a curated collection of new, cheap, and engaging things our son had never seen before. Think sticker books. They're fantastic, mess-free, and can be stuck on the tray table. We had water reveal coloring pads again, zero mess. We also packed a small travel set of magnetic tiles for building. The secret ingredient here is novelty. A brand new, simple toy will hold their attention way longer than an old favorite. Then you need a snack strategy. Airline food is a hard pass for most toddlers, and you can't count on quick service. We packed a bento box full of his favorite low-mess snacks: cheese crackers, fruit pouches, granola bars, veggie sticks. A mix of salty, sweet, and protein covers all your bases. The goal is familiar comfort food on demand. And a little pro tip: have a drink or a fruit pouch ready for takeoff and landing. The sucking motion really helps with that painful ear pressure. And finally, pack for comfort. We dressed our son in soft, layered pajamas. Comfort is king. We also invested in an inflatable footrest pillow. This was our single best purchase. It inflates to fill the legroom, turning their seat into a little flatbed. Now, a quick heads up. Double check with your airline before you buy one, as a few have rules against them, but for us, it was a true game changer. Combined with his blanket and kid-sized headphones, he slept for a solid chunk of the flight. Okay, before we get to my next tip, which is all about managing sleep in the air, I want to hear from you. What is the one travel item you absolutely cannot fly without when you have your kids in tow? Let me know in the comments. I am always looking for new ideas. All right, tip number 3 is less of a thing and more of a mindset, but it is absolutely critical. You have to embrace flexibility and basically throw your rulebook out the window. At home, our routine is pretty solid. I went into this thinking I could just replicate our normal nap and meal schedule on the plane. I was so wrong. The first hour was me trying to force a nap at his scheduled time, and it just created a cycle of frustration for both of us. The more I pushed, the more he pushed back. So I let it go. And the second I did, the stress just vanished. The new rule became, offer opportunities, don't force them. We still did our little bedtime routine PJ's book. Comfort toy, but we did it when he started showing tired signs, not when the clock told us to. Your kid will feed off your stress, so the calmer you are, the calmer they'll be. Survival is the only goal here. I have returned from flights aging 20 years from stress with my oldest child, so you have to let your goals go. Let it all go. This goes for screen time, too. At home, we limit it. On the plane, that tablet was our best friend. We tried to balance it with other things, but did we feel guilty about an extra movie if it bought us some peace? Absolutely not. The flight is a weird, temporary bubble. It's okay to treat it that way. You can get back to your normal routine when you land. Tip number 4 is all about becoming a master of pacing. You've got this incredible bag of new toys and snacks, and the temptation is to unleash everything at the first sign of trouble. Resist. You have to think of yourself as the entertainment director for a very, very long flight. You need to stretch your material. We've followed a one new thing per hour rule. If I need start getting restless, we'd introduce one new item from the surprise bag. The sticker book might buy us 45 minutes. An hour later, out came the magnetic tiles. By rotating activities and snacks, you keep things from getting old and overwhelming. And you know what? It's also okay to just let them be bored for a minute. If your kid is just quietly staring out the window, you don't need to jump in with a new distraction. Sometimes they need that downtime to just process and recharge. We also spent a surprising amount of time just walking up and down the aisles to burn off some of that pent-up energy. The goal is to stretch your resources. By slow playing your hand, you keep things feeling fresh for the whole flight and avoid that horrible moment when you realize you're out of tricks with 6 hours still to go. And my final tip, tip number 5, is all about what happens when the wheels touch down. This is how you make good on that promise of arriving refreshed, instead of collapsing in a heap. Your strategy for the first 24 hours at your destination is just as important as the flight itself. The biggest mistake people make is planning a huge activity for arrival day. I know it's tempting to dive right in, but your only priority should be to acclimatize. We kept our first day completely free of plans. When we arrived, we found the closest park and just let our son run. Getting outside into the sunlight is the fastest way to reset everyone's internal clock. It tells your brain, hey, it's daytime here. Wake up. Hydration and food are also huge. Push the water and try to offer familiar foods. A tired, dehydrated kid is a recipe for a meltdown. We also made a point to eat at local meal times to get our bodies on schedule. And finally, be patient. It can take a few days for a little one to fully adjust. We found a short, early evening nap on day 1 helped, but we made sure to wake everyone up after a couple of hours so we could all sleep that night. Expect a few very early mornings. By planning for a slow, gentle start, you set the whole family up for a much better trip, free from the grip of jet lag. So there you have it, our 5 game-changing tips for not just surviving a long-haul flight with your kids. Let's recap. Master your prep by booking smart and shifting schedules. Pack like a pro with a surprise bag and an inflatable bed. Ditch the rules and embrace flexibility. Pace everything to make it last. And plan for a soft landing with sunlight and a chill schedule. Look, traveling with kids feels daunting. I get it. But that flight, it's just one tiny chapter in a much bigger, more amazing adventure. You can do this. If you found these tips helpful, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, and definitely subscribe for more family travel tips just like this. Thanks for watching and happy travels.